Okay, should be streaming on Facebook and on YouTube coming up in about 10, 11 minutes, people. Winston McKenzie, God bless him, London candidate for mayor. Yeah, London Calling, the 29th, yeah, that's tonight. Please share the show. Copyright free, Facebook, copyright free. Why else do you think I always play the same stuff? Oh, blimey. Nice cup of tea. Nice cup of tea. 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes. Oh, I don't know. Something like that. On the hour, to the second. Yeah. Always, Rhino. You ain't kidding us, Theresa May. You ain't kidding us, Theresa May. We know what you are. Always servitude, Theresa May still. Yeah. With Rhino. Yeah. Always Rhino, Theresa May. Yeah. Groundhog Day. Always. Kenneth Clark is still there. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Why? Why are we surrounded by morons? Oh, give us representation. Morons. Remorons. You are fake. Always. Does that work?
China.
Yep.
China.
He won. He's gonna get that second term. Oh yes.
China now. China.
Hold on. What did this guy say? He said something, didn't he?
I've done pretty much all I can do. And if, at the end of this Brexit period, the government have not done what the people asked them to do, then I would have no choice but to don khaki and head back to the front lines. I mean, if that's what it comes to.
See you Friday, Nigel. See you Friday, mate. God bless you. I'll be wearing my khaki. I'll be going in peace. We're going in peace, people. You know, it's very nice, but I need something more lively. Oh, yeah.
Jazz Club.
That Kenny Clark reckons he's a jazz fan, doesn't he? Let's have a listen to see. What did his colleagues say? What did that bloke say? Let's see if I can find it. What did he say? It was Ken Clark's colleague, Tim Fortescue. Desk sharing with Ken Clark. This is what he said.
Anyone with any sense who was in trouble would come to the Wits and tell them the truth and say, no, I'm in a jam. Can you help? It might be debt. It might be scandal involving small boys or any kind of scandal which a member seemed likely to be mixed up in. They'd come and ask if we could help. And if we could, we did. And we would do everything we can because we would store up brownie points. That sounds a pretty nasty reason, but it's one of the reasons. Is if we can get a chap out of trouble, then he'll do as we ask forevermore.
Yep, Ted Heath's whip there. That's how they took us into the EEC, people. Hey, Ken, enjoy the jazz. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Yeah, man. Did you went to the screening of Pull My Daisy? Yeah. Did you enjoy it?
I don't know. I might try it.
Yeah. Yeah, that movie is great. That's the second time I saw it.
Let's try some democracy. Blimey, what do I press? I need to press something. Oh, here we go. Hey Winston, we're streaming.
Man?
We're streaming, sir. How are you?
Lovely.
Oh, lovely. Good on you, man. Yeah, you're a bit echoey there. Are you in a cellar or something? Have you got a headset?
No, I'm in a room.
Yeah, you sound like, I don't know, you're in an echo chamber. All right, no worries. Look, just keep us close to that mic and have you got video? Do you want to share your video?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see your chivvy, mate. You sort us out your video and I'll embed it. God bless you.
Good man.
Yeah.
In the middle. There.
.1 minute. 1 minute.
People in it that there is right now, man. Right now, about, it's 20 feet wide.
Hey, folks.
Even the most ardent of believers, even Mr. Speaker, the most ardent of
Hey, folks. Good evening, good people, and welcome to the Daily Brexit. Brino, betrayal, bollocks. Holding democracy to account, fighting for self-determination, and exposing Theresa May's deal for an EU treaty of servitude. I'm Olly Connelly. Thanks for turning up. And now, London calling. We've seen the losers march. Now for the Great British Democracy Demo. Unity in Action's The Champ, Winston McKenzie, pops in to pipe up about the need for big numbers, people, in our capital this Friday, the 29th. Let's take nothing for granted. This is one day for our whole future. Down tools, get to London, shock Parliament, let's rock the ref. Taking your calls on UK national number 033000, the numbers at the top. On Discord, that's gov.ly/rant. And we'll see you in the comments. Please help the show, support free speech, paypal.me/Brexit. Thank you. And please share the thing, like the page, all that. Let folks know we're talking, we're thinking, we're watching, we are active. That's what I want to do with a whole ruddy lot of them. Good evening. Roll call, sir. Mr. McKenzie, can you hear me?
The champ is live and ready, my man.
God bless you, man. God bless you. I hear, Winston, you've not been very well. What's happened to you?
Ollie, I've just had 7 of the most horrible days of my life. I had a knee operation a short while ago. Well, it was corrective surgery. I was told I'd be in a day or two, and I wound up spending 7 days in hospital. I caught a clinical infection, Ollie. It was just so horrible, man. I couldn't get a wee, couldn't do a number 2, couldn't do nothing. I wanted to smash everything up. It was so bad.
Oh no! What is that? An MSMR thing? MSMR?
Yeah, one of those funny names, you know. So now I've crawled out of my sick bed to do this interview, and let me tell you, Ollie, we are facing the biggest, most amazing output. We've got to stand up and fight for our lives on the 29th. I'm calling out my hospital bed to be here tonight, Ollie, to speak to you, man. And then I'm going to be on the 29th. I'm going to be in my wheelchair at Parliament because I'm confined to a wheelchair for 10 days so my kidneys can heal. Man. I'm telling everybody, if I can do it, if I can crawl out of my sick bed and get up there to fight for this country and all that we stand for, man, you better believe it. You better be there. Every living soul's got to be there.
Oh, Winston, God bless you, man. I tell you, I can hear it in your voice that you've gone through the wars a bit. And I'll tell you, I would be honoured and proud to push your wheelchair. I would be honoured and proud to volunteer to push your wheelchair, sir. Thank you so much. And fully understand if when it comes to it, you can't make it. Now, I'd like to see your video. I want to see your chivvy. If you've got any, flick that video switch on and I'll embed it. Going to go through what basically has been going on today, and in the Commons as per, and stateside. Yeah, big news stateside. I think I'll lead with that just to get it out of the way. But you know what? In the long term, it could just prove to be the biggest story of this particular day. I suspect it will be by a long chalk. And there it is. Trump wins. No collusion, no obstruction, no proof of crimes. Nadler, was that Ralph or something, says it's not over, and apparently Maxime Walters is having a meltdown. In fact, I think I can hear them now. Hold on a sec. This is the Democrats. Cue Democrats. Okay, right. So bottom line, according to AP, Trump declares a victory now, but legal perils far from over. Of course, they still want him to trip up. This is AP, Associated Press, federal and state investigators. President Donald Trump may be reveling in what he sees as complete and total exoneration from special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation, but his legal perils are far from over. According to AP, I'm not surprised while CNN is still broadcasting. Federal and state investigators in New York are deep into investigations of their own into Trump and those in his orbit. Probes that some observers have long viewed as every bit as menacing as Mueller's 2-year look. 2 years into possible collusion with Russia to influence the 2016 presidential election. They're very real and very significant, said some Democrat Patrick J. Cotter, a former federal prosecutor in the Southern District of New York. If you're Trump, this has got to feel in some ways like an even greater threat than the Russia probe. Hey, mate, come on. Can he at least have this day, just this day, after 2 years of press, lies, fabrication, of being fake? I got a quote from Donald Trump earlier.
China.
Okay, it wasn't really, but nonetheless, yeah. So, Winston, this potentially is good news for Brexit, is it not? Surely better than there to be some kind of a Clinton Easter clone in the White House in term 2. It looks as though he now could walk that second term to me, and that could be good in terms of setting up a trade deal for us. Maybe we won't be at the back of the queue. What would you like to say?
It makes you, it's hard to believe that relations between us and the Trump are so strained. We saw him recently on the news when he had a meeting with Theresa May, and there's so much he wanted to say. He couldn't. He's told her, he's given her his opinion on Brexit, and she refused to accept it. Now, this woman is so stubborn, she won't listen, but she's going to pay the price. She's going to pay the price. There's a price to pay for stubbornness in politics. And I can't see, this vindication, this latest vindication that has come about, where he's exonerated, will give him the opportunity to just walk the election. He's going to walk it, man. Thank God for Trump.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, to be honest with you, I've always been, I am a skeptic anyway, by nature. Anybody that's been through this Brexit process surely ought to be a skeptic by now. And that includes about Trump, yeah. But, you're there, sorry. But on the other hand, I have to say, the more these people kick up against Donald Trump, and the closest thing to a democratic result that you can have in the United States, the more I like the guy, the more it seems to me that he is trying to drain the swamp, and that they are kicking back.
I'm with you 100%. The more crap they come out with, the more they try to vindicate themselves, and act as though they have all the answers to everything. The more they vilify him and pull him down, the more we love him. It's so simple.
Yeah.
And I think today people are coming around to who Donald Trump really is. If not Trump, then who, Ollie? Who?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we could have a Hillary Clinton who wanted to shoot down Russian jets. Didn't she? She said,
thinking about.
She wanted to shoot down Russian jets over Syria, which would have potentially led us to a world war with China. What a bright specimen.
I think she's been confirmed that very unwell at the moment, isn't she, Ollie?
I think she's been unwell for a long time.
I'm not sure. I've heard she's suffering some mental and physical problems. I'm not sure. It's been reported.
I think that's been going on for a very long time. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I shouldn't be cruel if she is genuinely unwell. But then again, frankly, would it be any loss?
But you can imagine the stress. and the continuous lies that are thrown at our man. And it's if people do get ill during the process of trying to put Trump down, then this is the obvious outcome.
It is weird, isn't it? It is weird that these people are so ridiculously ambitious that they will sacrifice their own health for power.
Yes. Well, it's a big gold rush, isn't it? When you imagine the office of the President of the United States of America, the most powerful nation in the world. It's a big deal, Ollie.
It is a big deal. It is, absolutely.
People sell their souls. We've had instances where people just sell their souls, and this is the result. This is the result. Politics is a hard game, man. It's a tough cookie to crack.
Tomorrow night is old Piers Garnham night when he comes on and we start talking esoterics. But I actually do wonder, seriously, if they do sell their souls, some of these people. I really do. I really wonder. I don't know if you've got...
There's no doubt about it, Ollie. You have to have such a powerful position. You have to, you got to sell your soul, man. To pull down the leader, you got to sell your soul. It's bad enough here in England, where we're just a tiny dot on the map compared to America.
Yeah. Now, Amanda Momtazi says, sorry, just joined. Why are we discussing Clinton and Trump when our country is on the precipice? Well, Amanda, I'll tell you what.
I got it.
Go on, take it, please. Winston, why?
Why?
Yeah, why are we discussing Clinton and Trump when our country is on the precipice?
It all rolls into one. It's homogenous, Ollie.
What people need to understand is that Brexit is one battle in a far, far bigger war, as is what's going on in the United States, one battle in a far, far bigger war. And it's a global war. It's this war of globalization versus the people and their cultures. You're there. I keep forgetting which webcam. Look, it does all, as Winston says, it does all roll into one. And if we don't have a sympathetic ear from the Oval Office, from the White House, stateside, then we are going to suffer far, far more badly. We're going to have far, far less chance to get true Brexit and looking after the we the people aspect of our democracy here. So we have to keep them on side. And you imagine, Winston, you tell me, do you think that we would have any chance remotely of Brexit at this stage now had Hillary Clinton gained office instead of Donald Trump?
Ollie, we would have been finished. We would have been finished before the race has even run. Just imagine if we had a situation now, right this moment, where the Trump, the Don, and our Prime Minister were talking and getting on swell. How much easier would our exit be now?
Yes.
The most powerful man in the world.
Yes, I agree with
giving us rhetoric, positive rhetoric on Brexit. How much easier would that job be now, Ollie? Come on.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And this is one of the problems that we've had, which has been absolutely what the deep statists, the cabal, the New World Order, whatever you want to call it, the banksters, it's what they want, has been to disable this Trump presidency, to stop him from being able to drain the swamp, to tie both hands behind his back as much as possible, that he could not speak out, for example, and say things that he really, really wanted to say. And that probably is why he's been maybe a wee bit more lenient towards Putin than he might have been, for example, or the opposite, actually.
Disappointed.
Sorry, go on, Winston.
From his recent meeting with Theresa May, during the course of that recent meeting, he was grossly disappointed. You could see the look on his face. There are things he wanted to say, but he felt his problems were big enough without adding Great Britain into the equation. Now, had we been talking and getting on swell, there's so much more influence he could have added to Brexiteers getting out in their campaign and coming out of the EU. Now it's been kicked into the long grass.
Mm-hmm.
By treason, May.
We'll come on to that. We'll come on to that just a second, but I just want to wrap up the Mr. Trump news, the President Trump news, Robert Mueller's 2-year-long investigation trying to find some sort of evidence of collusion with the Russians during that election has come apart. There is nothing. He hasn't found a shred of evidence. A huge embarrassment for the deep statists, a huge victory for the president and for us in the UK who need a strong president who is on our side.
These people have short memories.
Yes.
They have really short memories. They tend to forget. This is the man who stopped World War III in its tracks, right? His clinical expertise with Kim Jong-un stopped a potential third world war. Now that takes skill, that takes guts and brinksmanship.
Well, he
Obama
certainly
couldn't do it.
He at
Clinton
least
couldn't do it.
They didn't bother. They didn't even try, did they? Obama never once reached out to Kim Jong-il or whatever his name is, Little Kim, whatever it is.
Never.
And so, yeah, we should be grateful for that. The other thing to bear in mind with this, and when you watch the news broadcasts tonight, whatever it is, you look where they place this story in the running order. It is a big story, and they will try and scupper it. On, for example, the 6 o'clock news on BBC Radio 4 tonight, they put this underneath the story about Israel and saying how, Trump's a friend of Bibi and all the rest of it, whatever. Okay, maybe he is. But the big story is that the United States at the moment has a president, and we, the British people, have a political friend in the White House who is so much stronger. The media is a big part of this, big part of this. I haven't heard any apologies yet. Have you heard any apologies?
No,
2
sir.
years of being fake.
Yes.
But anyway.
Well, we ain't going to get no apologies either. We ain't going to get no apologies.
No, it's not the style.
all we can do is sit back and laugh, because what else can we do?
Yes.
We they put their oar in and they try to bring him down, and they'll come with something else. Something else will come out of the woodwork, and he'll beat them again.
I want to play, because it is directly relevant to what we're trying to achieve. I want to play Theresa May's address to the House of Commons earlier, which is 7.5 minutes long, but I think it's important that we're fully aware, and then we can go through what she said, what it means, and what it doesn't mean.
With permission, Mr. Speaker, I would like to make a statement on last week's European Council. Before the Council, I wrote to President Tusk to seek formal approval for the legally binding assurances on the Northern Ireland backstop and alternative arrangements agreed in Strasbourg on the 11th of March. I reported your statement, Mr. Speaker, which made clear that for a further meaningful vote to take place, the deal would have to be fundamentally different, not different in terms of wording, but different in terms of substance. I explained that as a result, some honourable and right honourable members were seeking further changes to the withdrawal agreement, and I requested a short extension to the Article 50 process to the 30th of June. I regret having to do so. I wanted to deliver Brexit on the 29th of March, but I'm conscious of my duties as Prime Minister to all parts of our United Kingdom, and of the damage that union leaving without a deal could do when one part of it is without devolved government and unable, therefore, to prepare properly. The Council formally endorsed the legal instrument relating to the withdrawal agreement and the joint statement supplementing the political declaration. This should increase the confidence of the House that the backstop is unlikely ever to be used and would only be temporary if it is. But the Council also reiterated, once again, its long-standing position that there could be no reopening of the withdrawal agreement. So however the House decides to proceed this week, everyone should be absolutely clear that changing the withdrawal agreement is simply not an option. Turning to extending Article 50, this has always required the unanimous agreement of the other 27 member states. As I've made clear before, it was never guaranteed that the EU would agree to an extension or the terms on which we requested it, and they did not. Instead, the Council agreed that if the House approves the withdrawal agreement this week, our departure will be extended to 11 p.m. on the 22nd of May. This will allow time for Parliament to pass the withdrawal agreement bill, which is legally necessary for the deal to be ratified. But if the House does not approve the withdrawal agreement this week, our departure will instead be extended only to 11 p.m. on the 12th of April. At this point, we would either leave with no deal, or we would indicate a way forward before this date for consideration by the European Council. If this involved a further extension, it would certainly mean participation in the European parliamentary elections. The Council's conclusions were subsequently turned into a legal decision, with which the UK agreed and which came into force last Friday. So while the government has today laid a statutory instrument, which will be debated later this week, to reflect this in our domestic legislation, the date for our departure from the EU has now changed in international law. Were the House not to pass the statutory instrument, it would cause legal confusion and damaging uncertainty, but it would not have any effect on the date. But it would not have any effect on the date of our exit. Mr. Speaker, I continue to believe that the right path forward is for the United Kingdom to leave the EU as soon as...
Is that you, Winston?
...on the 22nd of May. But it is with great regret that I have had to conclude that as things stand, there is still not sufficient support...
I thought you said you couldn't go, sir.
...third meaningful vote.
No, I
continue to have discussions with colleagues across the House to build support so that we can bring the vote forward this week and guarantee Brexit. If we cannot, the government made a commitment that we would work across the House to find a majority on a way forward. The amendment in the name of my right honourable friend, the member for West Dorset, seeks to provide for this process by taking control of the order paper. I continue to believe doing so would be an unwelcome precedent to set, which would overturn the balance of our democratic institutions.
This woman's got problems.
So the government will oppose.
Turn it off, Olly. Turn it off.
Yeah.
But in order to fulfil our commitment,
Nearly over.
Would seek to provide government time
Bringing back
for this
memories.
process to proceed. It will be for this House to put forward options for consideration and to determine the procedure by which they wish to do so. But I must confess that I am sceptical about such a process of indicative votes. When we've tried this kind of thing in the past, it's produced contradictory outcomes or no outcome at all. There is a further risk when it comes to Brexit, as the UK is only one half of the equation, and the votes could lead to an outcome that is unnegotiable with the EU. No government could give...
Right, that's enough of that, for crying out loud. You know, the bottom line, Winston, what she said, and I'm very worried about her guts, what she said was that there are three options now. One of them is what she called a no-deal Brexit, which is not no-deal Brexit at all. As Kate Hoey, MP, correctly said in the House, it's a different kind of deal. It's a WTO deal. And also, by the way, there are deals already in place to keep the planes in the skies and keep the trucks moving and all the rest of it. There are those deals already in place. And therefore, there's no such thing as a no-deal Brexit. On the date of Brexit, the 29th of March, which now apparently is going to be what? The 12th of April at the earliest, according to this Remoron in charge. But yes, so that's one option.
Look,
another option,
Olly,
she said...
Olly.
Yeah, Winston, let me just get these three out. The three options, she said, it's a second referendum. Yeah. She, for the first time today, I think, she touted a second referendum. And the third one was a different kind of deal, she said, was the third option. And it looks as though, for now at least, her deal, her preferred deal, is off the table. That's basically what she said. What do you think, Winston? Go on.
Olly, you see, it's not difficult. It ain't rocket science. On the point of law, strictly on the point of law, before we go into backstops and the ifs, the don'ts and the maybes, on the 29th of Britain, as was agreed with when Article 50 was activated, on the 29th of this month, we shall be free of the European Union, right? We're eligible to do deals with anybody, any country in the world we like. But on the point of law, that is the date we leave. Now, this nonsense about, and I call it nonsense because it is, the nonsense about the backstop was just a camouflage. It wasn't just a
2nd of
backstop.
May,
Why are we
forces
considering and to simply keep talking about the backstop? All she had to do initially was just carry out the will of the people and leave. The deals, the treaty that we have with the European Union, all the trade deals, the trade ties that we have with Europe will take years to solve. They'll never be solved. We'll never be able to tie everything up. The whole idea of the backstop was just a camouflage to keep us in, so she and her cohorts could pretend that they were untying our association with Europe. We will never cut ties with Europe. People are talking about the no deal scenario. We will always have a deal with Europe and the rest of the world. There'll be deals going on all the time.
That's right. That's right. And of course,
I
we're
really
their biggest.
don't understand it.
We are the EU's
backstop
biggest trading
is just
partner.
a camouflage.
Yep, absolutely. It is. And indeed, who better to talk about that than the DUP, the Irish representation in the Commons themselves. And I can give you two quotes because I was taking a bit of a few notes whilst her emergency statement was going on. One of them was from that Dodds chap, and he said that the EU's no-deal contingency planning allows for no Northern Ireland border. And Varadkar, he said that, didn't he? He said that yesterday. We don't need a border. There's no need for a border. The EU now, the EU are agreeing and saying that under a no-deal scenario, there would be no border. The EU are saying that now, and DUP's Dodds asked correctly, if that's the case, why would any Theresa May deal, or what the EU is describing as a treaty, why does that require a backstop? What is the difference? And not just him, but his colleague Wilson, is it Jimmy Wilson? There will be, this is a quote, there will be no checks along the Irish border. Therefore, no threat to the peace of Northern Ireland. When are you, he was talking to Theresa May,
exactly the point.
When are you going to stop Northern Ireland as an excuse? We will not be used in any scare tactics to push this through, Winston.
No, and that's the point I'm trying to make. You know, Brussels, Germany in particular, Germany have never forgotten that they lost the war and we won. Our ministers have to realize that we're fighting World War III here. That's how serious it is. We're fighting World War III. But our problems are, because our parliament are with the in crowd, they want to stay in. The crowd, the general public, are Brexiteers. The majority of us are genuine Brexiteers. We want to come out. We've got a parliament that wants to stay in there and die. What with all their franchises and their investments in Europe, that's what's tying us down. That's what's keeping us in. And if our ministers don't wake up and realise, and they never will, having said that, just how serious this thing is, and the fact that we are fighting, this is like a World War III, a Cold War. We have to win.
I totally agree.
And I believe that Brexiteers will win. The work that's been occurring on the outside of that by patriots is amazing. And it's the will of the patriots that's kept this whole thing going, Ollie. You know, it's not, when you look at all the politicians and what have you, and the people in power, they've been totally redundant. Totally redundant. It's just the will of the British people, the text, the talk shows like this, and us speaking out for what we want, and our resolve. And now our final meeting on the 29th outside Parliament to show what we stand for, that will win the day.
We've got Thomas Whitelock, who's popped in on Discord. Thomas, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can, yeah.
God bless you, man. I'll tell you, you've been trying to get onto this show for, I don't know, about 200 shows or something, and you finally made it with audio. Well done. Incredible. Look, just bear with me a sec, Thomas, because I want to take a few comments, and then I want to refer to a story about the Losers March so that we can put a little bit of that in context as well. But let's take a few comments here first of all. David Laddie says, supremacy, oh, blimey, I can't read that, mate. I'm sorry, David, I can't read that. I can normally read your comments, but that doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know whether you've written it in Latin or something. This isn't Jacob Rees-Mogg. That's as far as I can go. Armin Armoud says, Mace taking over Marty McFly's job in the next Back to the Future movie. Baldwin Man. Hey, Baldwin, new chap here. Benny Dip told you Gov will delay it for 2 years to get a second referendum. I completely agree with that, Baldwin. Been saying that since this woman took power. David Laddie, DUP should bring her down tomorrow. Kenneth Noel Gabriel Curran, don't underestimate Presbyterians. Kathy Farrell, hey, Thomas, is that? He's gone. Oh, okay. Simon Hughes, the DUP, was spot on today. They're using Ireland as a bargaining tool. Yes, absolutely. Amanda Thompson, in fact, I understand that Tony Blair went to Paris, sat down with Macron, and hashed out this plot to use this, the Good Friday peace accord, as basically a way to try and scupper Brexit, as if the Northern Irish people want problems with Ireland and vice versa, and the UK and all the rest of it. I don't think we do we? We don't want these kind of problems. It's just the EU is chucking this.
Also, Ollie, another thing I was thinking, earlier on, when the EU army, when it's set up, what will happen with Malta and Gibraltar? What will happen with our fishing rights? They're going now. We realise that the EU army is being planned and prepared now. It's happening.
Malta's got nothing to do with this, but Gibraltar, yes. Yeah. I mean, and we'll have no army, will we? Yeah, no, that's right. Absolutely. And in fact, it's
no army of our own.
If Thomas Whitelock would come back on, he's an ex-serviceman who is campaigning, very, very concerned about PESCO and the usurpation of our military forces and nuclear capacity, so that some drunk like Juncker can basically decide when to press the button.
Do you think he'll lend me his wheelchair to go do Brexit on Friday?
Angela Verdon, blimey, okay, I didn't understand that, but that again, it looks fairly Latin-y to me. Amanda Thompson, I don't want her to resign and get a long life pension. She needs sacking. I would say that she needs trying for treason, personally. A fair trial yes. With the ultimate penalty.
It is treason.
The ultimate penalty restored. That was taken away very conveniently by Tony Blair, was it not? Debbie Shaw, the EU was planned just after World War II finished. Yes, indeed it was. We know who started it all. Yes, indeed we do. Now, Winston, I want to draw your attention to a story, because I know London is very much your patch, sir. And I want to ask you about what you're doing in a minute as well with London. But this story, I think, is very interesting indeed. According to Guido, impartial fact checkers trash people's votes claim that 1 million people marched. When I was listening to the questions to the Prime Minister, Prime Moron, in the chamber earlier, at least two members of Parliament said that there were 1 million people that marched, including that idiot that is in charge of the SNP. The People's Vote campaign had already come under fire for grossly exaggerating the number of people on their last march, after official figures revealed that it was only attended by Bob Geldof. Around 250,000 people, barely a third of the 700,000 they claimed then. Now it looks as though they've shamelessly puffed up the numbers on their second march by exactly the same margin. Impartial fact checkers, full fact, carefully examined their claim that 1 million people attended their march on Saturday, finding that experts in crowd estimation put the number at between 312,000 and 400,000. Again, barely a third of the dodgy numbers that people's vote
there's
were
no
putting out.
mistaking the numbers who marched yesterday. 3/4 of them were foreigners drafted in from abroad.
Really?
They were foreigners. They're not English people.
How can
They're
you
not
be
English
sure?
Patriots.
How can you be sure?
You know, they had all the English people up the front who they could the English in crowd up front who they could interview, and all the rest were foreigners, mate. I'm telling you.
How can you be sure? How can you? Oh, that's a big claim, sir. How can you be sure?
No,
I did hear that claim once before with the other march.
We know for a simple fact of all the demonstrations we've had, where did 500,000 people suddenly come, or 1 million people suddenly come from? We know you're not going to get a turnout like that. We've never had a turnout like that under any circumstance. When you, from a practical point of view, just look at it. Look at the voting, the 17.5 million. Just look at the voting and check it out compared to the 14.8 whatever it was. Check it out. Where did so many people come from? Just look at, I mean, they were saying this morning on LBC, when the numbers had been checked, the names had been checked, so many foreign names. So many foreign names. This is a typical example, what you're seeing there, of a renter mob. That's a typical example. Check it out, Ollie.
Wow, I tell you that is. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest.
It's total, Ollie. It's complete. It's Donald Trump invented the fake news scenario.
Yep.
This is the biggest example of fake news and fake mobs you'll ever see in our history.
I have to say, it wouldn't surprise me. There is a website you can go to, and you can actually order a political demonstration. I'm not joking. I don't know if it's still there. I saw this thing about a year ago or something. But if you put something, some keywords like that in some search engine like DuckDuckGo, one that's worth using, not Google, then you can probably find that yourselves. But yeah, they do that. We know that Soros, through his, Black Lives Matter or something,
they've got the money. They've got the money.
They've been bussing people in
to get it done, Ollie.
Over there. Why shouldn't they do it here?
This is a war we're fighting, Ollie. We're fighting a war against some big men with big bucks. And they're going to make sure that's packed. When you look at our Brexit marches and marches with the in crowd and with them being a few blocks away from us in central London, and you see how many of them turn out, and you look at the people behind the in crowd, then you realise that there's more money behind the in crowd than there is behind Brexiteers. Brexiteers are patriots, doing it from the bottom of their hearts, unpaid.
Just
That's what's going down.
Just a couple more comments, and then I've got a few things to ask you, sir. Debbie Shaw says, I've been sharing Robin Tilbrook everywhere when I heard from Graham Moore about it Friday. I think it was included to Ollie. I got it accepted in quite a nice range of places. Alas, in no Labour sites. I have never ventured there. Lots of laughs. And I understand that Robin is taking that case on Monday, and I've been in contact with Robin over the weekend. To be honest with you, I've got some queries about his funding, which I kind of am trying to get some clarification on, because I'm wondering about people maybe fundraising on the behalf of what to me and to you I know seems like an awesome cause, the illegality of extending Article 50, but I understand that some funding has been going into people's personal accounts and then being transferred to the account for the cause itself, which frankly I don't really think is particularly straight, as it were. But anyway, I'm going to be talking to Robin again tomorrow, and hopefully I'll get him on the show to answer some questions about that and about the court case itself tomorrow evening. If he would like to come on, he did want to come on tonight, but unfortunately we kind of went a bit skew-whiff with the communication. So anyway, we'll hopefully sort that out for tomorrow. Sandra McQueen, 3 million signed Remain petition, but when checked, a lot were from abroad. Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right. That happened before as well.
On the point of Robin.
Yes.
I spoke to Robin just before. It must have been. He must have had a premonition that I was going to be ill. I spoke to him on the Saturday night, I believe it was, just before I went into hospital.
Yeah.
Of last week, with regard to the cases he's taking out on Article 50, and I commended him. So I don't know much more about it other than that. But in so much as the funding's concerned for his project, it's an amiable project, and I don't think he'll be short of a few quid there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I understand from him that he has very, very possibly secured some substantial funds for this now. Aside from the kind of, the bits and bobs that have been popping in through donations. Anyway, I'll find out a bit more about that, and hopefully we can discuss that a bit more. He was on the show last week.
That's going to be,
only briefly.
If he can set that up and get that going, as I said to him just last week, that's going to be dynamite. That is dynamite, Ollie.
Do you think the one thing about that court case that it seems to me is that you have to trust good old-fashioned British justice, the kind of justice that puts Melanie Shaw away, secret courts and all the rest of it, the kind of justice that still allows Tony Blair to be wheeled out on our television screens on the BBC rather than rotting away at the bottom of the Hague. Do you really trust British justice to help out here?
No, I don't. I don't trust British justice. It's going to be all about timing. The people have to realise just how much power they hold. The people representing us, if we can time it right, if Robin can get the timing right as he goes along, it puts their jobs at risk. They have to be placed in a vulnerable situation.
Yes. And in case you're wondering, I haven't got any...
I can't wait.
Go on, Winston. I don't know where you've gone. Oh, he's gone. Winston, come back. All is forgiven. I've got his video now too. I'll pop that on. Go on, Winston. We couldn't hear you then.
This is the perfect opportunity for people to initiate people power. Now, Robin has got to work specifically according to the people, to the movement of the people, to when the people move. It's timing. It's like being in the boxing ring and your timing's off. You've got to get that jab in first. You've got to be first every time. And I believe that, when you say, can we rely on good old British justice? His timing has to be so spot on. And it's... You can't even say anymore, we're going to leave it all up to the law. It's on the point of law. But this is my old governor. He's my old governor, and he's a wily old character.
Who?
He knows his stuff.
Who? Well, Robin Robin, he was your governor?
Yeah. I was spokesman.
You were with the English Democrats. Oh.
Don't forget. They've accredited me with joining every party in the country, Ollie.
That's all right. I'm a proud floating voter myself. And as long as they're going to use Brexit, I don't really care. I will be marching with the Leave Means Leave march from Chiswick to Parliament Square. And if you want to join me with that, Winston, as I say, I'll push your wheelchair, mate. But I'm a terrible driver, I warn you.
Don't worry, mate.
but I don't care who's organised that. The fact is that there's something going on, and to me, it's a really symbolic thing to meet in Parliament Square with all of these different, if you like, Brexiteering factions finally, hopefully, coming together. I am a bit worried, Winston, that we're going to see troublemakers getting aggressive, people that frankly are controlled opposition, trying to stir up problems for God knows what, to suit maybe the government and the EU, not least of all because we know that there's an army exercise or a military exercise the next day with 10,000 European troops in the UK.
Wow.
That starts on the 30th. I am a bit worried about there being a kind of a military presence in London. I'm more concerned about troublemaking.
Hold on a
there.
second, Ollie.
Am I mistaken?
This 10,000
Yeah.
European.
That's right. Yeah.
I've never heard nothing like that.
No, it's not been on the BBC, has it? Again. Yes, apparently so. Apparently, some
What do
sort
they
of
want? I mean, what do they want? Why this military exercise?
As I understand it, there are manoeuvres that are going to be going on Dartmoor. And I don't know, they're going to be, yes. But it starts on the 30th. On the 30th, the day after Brexit Day, in inverted commas. And yeah, that is a little bit concerning maybe. But look, that aside, Winston, what is... can we keep it peaceful? Can we keep it peaceful on Friday?
I'll try, Ollie. We've got to try.
We have to.
We got some good listeners on at the moment. So
I'm not worried about them. I'm not worried about them. And I'm not worried about 99%. But I am worried about a few troublemakers that aren't even true Brexiteers getting involved, maybe to, upset the apple cart.
Look, worry about it when it happens, Ollie. I mean, they had a reasonably peaceful march yesterday. Where there are masses of people, then it usually goes. You've got to remember, we are Great Britain. We have got a tendency to get on democracy for whatever it means these days. We try to adhere to that. I think it will be a peaceful march. I'm not in the least bit concerned about anything occurring. Not in the least bit.
God bless you. Okay, that's fantastic. Kenneth Noel Gabriel Curran says, call me Dave the pork scratcher to the pig farm. Call me Dave, the pork scratcher to the pig farm. Pretend, call me Dave, the swine
to the pig farm, yeah.
Ashkenazi.
Yeah.
Chris Rumbold says, exercise joint warrior. NATO twice a year in spring and autumn. That's interesting, Chris. So this is something that happens twice a year already? Please confirm that. I'd be very interested to know. If you can send me a link, I'd be very grateful. Okay. Look, Winston, what is going on now with your London Mail campaign to get rid of this cretin Dick Cant?
Oh, that's exciting, Ollie. That's real exciting. I've had them on to me, all types of groups and campaigners, even some of the national TV stations. They want to, talk to me about solving gun and knife crime. Right now, they can get lost, All they seem to do is they'd never want to put me on national television, put the block on me. They want to take my policies, big up themselves, and, broadcast it. I've just recently held a gospel concert in London. I put it on, worked hard at it, done the best I could. We didn't get the numbers that we expected to, but at least we've done it. The simple fact is, Ollie, gun and knife crime, it's all about horses for courses. When I get into office, there will be a zero tolerance approach with regard to gun and knife crime. I will bring about policies, I will bring about projects, I will bring about work, I will bring about employment, I'll bring even funds. I'll bring funds to London.
Funds?
By Londoners. Mm-hmm. Funds, did you hear that, Ollie? Funds to London initiated by Londoners. You will see a brand new London. There'll be all this no-go areas and all that. It's going to stop, but it won't stop overnight, Ollie. We've got to bring in people from the different factions of society. You have to communicate with the people. When you want to solve a problem, you feed the nation with communication. When communication breaks down, you've lost. And that's what's happened now. This little guy can't. They say can't. That's exactly what it means. He can't. He has no means of communication, this little man. And furthermore, he's unpatriotic. London needs a great, strong leader. It's horses for courses. I am a great, strong leader. I don't need to be asked, can I do the job? Can I do it? Am I all talk? I've been around. I've been around a long time. I know the nooks and crannies. I know the churches who I deal with talk to me every week. I don't even want to give any more away right now, Ollie. It's my job, my role, horses for courses. I will give the youth of London hope and prosperity. London will be the epicenter of the world. The whole world will be proud of us. And let me tell you, Ollie, our Met is going to be cleaned out, root and branch. The whole world, once again, will become proud of our Metropolitan Police. All the investigations will start again. The ones who can't stand up and make their job count will be out. I will run London, Ollie.
What do you think
I will run London.
What do you think of Cressida Dick? She seems a bit politicised to me.
Well, all this softly approach when I become chairman of the Metropolitan Police, all this softly nonsense. You know, what we need in London today is a strong leader. And the likes of Cressida Dick and her army and the rest of people, they'll have to adhere to a real leader. You ain't seen nothing yet. Nobody's seen anything yet. This country lacks leadership. It lacks backbone. It lacks people in power to initiate what the people want. The people, at the end of the day, have the last say. Right now, they're saying, and it's all falling on deaf ears, our Metropolitan Police will once again become the envy of the world when I'm in charge of London, when I run London. And Ollie, I will run London. Our police will become the envy of the world because they'll have the training. Right now, we've got some police forces who are just thugs fighting the other thugs on the street. And why are they like that? Because they have no reasonable resources for training. We've just heard about the 100 million that they've given to Mr. Kant, and he's given it to all the Muslim communities, all these people, looking after his people.
Really?
Paying out little bits of extra money for overtime, for police overtime. Nothing's going to happen. Just over the weekend, over the last few days, 6, 7, 8, any number of people you like, been killed or maimed through knife crime. It's all going to stop, Ollie. It won't stop overnight. It won't stop overnight. But the attitude and the projects, the untold projects that are and opportunities that I will give young people out there is going to be phenomenal. They're going to be totally engaged. Completely engaged. I want to get in the ring and then beat up on some of them. Get them in the ring, get the gloves on them and beat up with them. Skip with them, run with them, jump with them. Make things happen for them.
I like your passion. I like your passion, sir. And I know that you're more passionate than you were a year or so ago. And I'm pleased to hear it. What's your take?
You can't tell I've been sick.
No, that's right. You're more passionate now, bless you. What's your take on part and parcel?
Part and parcel, I'm very cagey. I can't give much away. I've stood for Mayor of London twice before, and all they seem to do is, they pick up on shows like this, Skype shows like this, and use my policies. But my part and parcel, my take on London is Feed London with communication. Communication feeds the nation.
He
And
said,
that's what I'll be
Dick
doing.
can't. He said that terrorism was part and parcel of living in a big city. Which I have to say personally, coming from a family that was imbued in Blitz spirit, that was one half was putting the fires out whilst the other half was swerving torpedoes in the Med, I found utterly disgusting, that attitude. What can we do to change this mindset that is somehow tolerant about us being blown up because we're politically correct?
Well, the thing is, that's his way of dismissing the terrorism. But as far as government is concerned, he's not lobbying government in the way in which he should. This man should become a pain in the arse to government. Government should be frightened of the Mayor of London. They should be frightened every time the Mayor opens his mouth. They should run and hide. And this isn't happening. They've got no fear over him. They don't fear the Mayor of London. Government needs to play their part in terrorism. And the way they can begin to play their part in terrorism is to shore up the borders, count who's coming in, count who's going out. Because as Mayor of London, I can't do a good job unless you do your job. Do your job and I'll do mine.
Let me ask you a specific question then. For example, returning ISIS fighters.
I'm not shouting at you, Ollie. I'm just saying, man.
No, you're not.
Your
No,
fault,
mate. I shout all the. It's passion. It's.
Yeah. I don't want you to get it wrong, Ollie.
No. You shout, sir. Please. And if you want to shout at me, shout at me. That's fine. We can have a right tip if you like. No, I mean, what would your take be, for example, about returning ISIS jihadists?
I've got no hesitation in that. I have as I told you, Ollie, I told you before, we've got a load of soft high school boys, college boys running the country. Mm-hmm. We have nobody with real backbone. You can see now, even in the Tory government, leadership is wide open and they're such cowards. We've got nobody who wants to pick up the baton and run with it, you know?
Yes.
And that's our problem, leadership. Trying to find a leader in a political party these days is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You cannot find a good, strong leader, a good, patriotic leader, somebody who believes in England, somebody who believes in this country and all that it stands for, wants to carry out the will of the people, do what the people want. The people voted for you. The people can vote you out. That's what we need, Ollie.
The problem is that a lot of us apparently can't. I don't know how conditioned we are. It's all that pin a rosette on a donkey, whether it's blue or red, that kind of thing. I know it's kind of slowly dying. I'm sure that there's an enormous amount of awareness that's been created over the last couple of years with people realizing that it's this disparity between us and those so-called representatives in the House of Commons. But I am concerned that come the next election, we will not, for example, be demanding the deselection of those MPs, those representatives who have gone against the wishes of their own constituents.
Well, you're spot on there, Ollie. We're not stupid, but at the same time, we have to be careful in what sort of strategy we use. We have to have people in power who understand how the country works, people who are the wheels and the cogs in the machinery. We have to have those type of people. But what's happened is the divide between the rich and the poor, the have and the have-nots, has gone too far. Yes. It's too far beyond belief now. The continuous cuts throughout the years have proved to be fatal. They've proved to be fatal and manifested themselves in crime.
You think that's a strong reason for the knife crime?
Absolutely. As bad as he was, Cameron once said, it's the fabric of our society that's been eaten away by his very people, actually. And what they've done is eaten away at the fabric of our society. Knock down youth clubs, cut out all the facilities that the youths have, cut back on schools, built on playing fields.
Yeah.
All these natural things have been missing from our communities. But I'm going to solve all that in London. London will lead the way once again. London will become great again, Ollie.
I'm in our mood.
Because
I'm in our mood says, got to get in power first, Winston, or it's all talk, fella. What would you say?
Well, it's up to you guys out there. I've done it before and I'll do it again.
Now, you would be running.
We're not London.
Sorry, go on, please.
Absolutely.
You'll be running as
what?
So you'll be running under the party Unity in Action. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Unity in Action. That's my party. I'm the leader of that party. It's a national party, fledged, and it's the proper. We've got all the right things to go forward, sanctioned by the London Electoral Commission. We are a fully pledged party. And notice the name, Ollie, Unity in Action.
Yeah, I like the name, I have to say.
We want action, man.
Yeah, we do.
You won't catch me running in like a bull out of a china shop, so the saying goes. You won't, because I know my stuff. You have to be diplomatic. You have to know what to touch and what not to touch, and when to touch it and when to make it happen. The simple fact is, you've got to know your audience. What do they say, Ollie? When you've got a job in hand and you want to go self-employed, the first thing they say to you is, who's your audience? You have to know your audience. I know my audience. Right now, we've got a problem with knife crime. With gun and knife crime, immigration, yes, we've got a problem with that, big problem with that, because you can't build houses and got floods and floods of people coming into the country, unknowns. And on top of that, our heritage, our patriotism has to be maintained. Everything we stand for has to be maintained. People who've never worked before, you've got youngsters out there who've never worked before. I want to get them up. I will get them up and they will begin to do things that they are really skilled at. We'll open the gates. We'll make things happen. People say, how are you going to afford all this, Mac? Where's the money coming from? That's my secret. That is my secret.
Winston, you were actually born in Jamaica, weren't you?
Yeah, I came here at the age of 5 years old.
I'll tell you what, mate, you're my kind of Londoner. You've got my values, and that is the kind of thing that I care about. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
You folks can't see it, but Winston's dancing now. God bless you, Winston. So you're actually in hospital at the moment?
No, I'm home. They brought me home in an ambulance. I'm not allowed to walk. I can talk. As you can see, I'm talking now, Ollie.
Oh, man.
And I'm just waiting to wear that crown, take that crown off of Mr. Kant, and give Londoners what they want.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, we so need it. Thank you so much, sir. You do speak sense. You do speak sense, and you speak from the heart, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ollie.
Winston McKenzie from Unity in Action. And look at that, my picture's frozen again. Yeah, you know what? I kind of need some software, folks. Look, if you can support free speech, please do. PayPal.me/Brexit. And this has been the Daily Brexit. I remain Olly Connelly, and I'll see you tomorrow at 7. And yeah, okay, I'll try to get Robin Tilbrook on here tomorrow. '29th, folks. 29th. Roll up for democracy. Please, we've all got to get into London. 29th, reclaim your capital city. All those damned morons. Remind them that there's life outside of the M25. I think, what was it? He wanted a caliphate or something, didn't he? That said he can't. He said he didn't. He want. He said we could be a capital. What's the word? A city-state. A city-state. He said the day after the referendum. That's what he said. London could be a city-state. Yeah. Well, let's see how you do if you don't get any food coming into London from the home counties and from beyond, mate. London is of England and of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. You remember it, mate. Cheers, everybody. See you tomorrow. Here's to us and bugger plutocracy.